bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Wu-Tang Clan coming at ya. Watch your step, kid. Watch your step, kid. Watch your step, kid. So set it off. Watch your step, kid. Watch your step, kid. I smoke on the mic like smoking Joe Frazier, the Hellraiser, raising hell with the flavor. Terrorize the jam like troops in Pakistan, swinging through your town like your neighborhood Spider-Man. So tick tock and keep ticking. When I get you flipping off the shit I'm kicking, the Lone Ranger, co-ed, danger, deep in the dark with the art to rip the charts apart. The vandal, too hot to handle your battle. You're saying goodbye like Tevin Campbell. Roughneck, Inspector Dex on the set. The rebel, I make more noise than heavy metal. The way I make the crowd go wild. Sit back, relax, won't smile. Ray got it going on, pal. Call me the rap assassinator. Rhymes rugged and built like Schwarzenegger. And I'ma get mad deep like a threat. Blow up your project, then take all your assets. Cause I came to shake the frame in half with the thoughts that bomb like math. So if you wanna try to flip, yo, flip on the next man. Cause I'll grab the clip and hit you with 16 shots and more. I got going to war with the melting pot.
Welcome back in. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. A little Wu-Tang to get us back in there. Wu-Tang Clan is such boy music. How many, I have some songs of Wu-Tang that I am a fan of, but I'm going to tell you now, I would not be one of the ones lining up to go see their residency in Vegas, although I like Wu-Tang in pieces.
You're not the only one.
I can't imagine. I believe that they are the first hip-hop act to get a residency there, and we'll get into that a little bit, but, which is an achievement, but they wouldn't have been my first pick as the first hip-hop act to bring a residency to Vegas.
They do have their stands, though, for sure.
Facts. They do. But I feel that they are a group. Well, one, I think that one of the keys to success for this Vegas thing is women. And, outside of meth and, you're all I need. And, if they're going to do, what is the song? Caramel Deluxe. What is the song that they had? Even chocolate sundaes are getting touched.
Well, it was ice cream or something like that.
Yeah, they don't have too many songs that speak to the ladies, You're not going to pay all that money in a Vegas residency to be timmed out. Like, are you wearing your get 'em dress to go see Wu-Tang with your dude? Not really.
So are you saying that you think it might not be as successful?
Yeah. Because I don't know how, welcome back into hour 2 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. What I'm saying is, and I guess, since we already started down the path, I'll circle back. I think that in order for things to be a success in Vegas, the formula is really driven by women in this particular venue stance thing for the residency. Think Bruno Mars, think Usher, think Adele, think what type of, male energy dominated acts have we heard about on Vegas? The guys are like, oh, I gotta get there.
I don't know any off the top of my head, but I think I don't know what venue they're going to be residents at.
They're going to be at the theater at Virgin Hotel. So that used to be the Hard Rock.
Sounds like a small venue, which is perfect for them. I think this could be something that they might be experimenting with. At least, the city of Vegas When it comes to hip hop though, at a small venue like that, I think it'd be perfect. Like I said, Wu-Tang has their stands, just like Beyonce has the Beehive or whatnot. They're crazy Wu-Tang fans. So, if you happen to be living in New York and happen to be traveling to Vegas, I'm guaranteed you're probably gonna want to stop by to go see Wu-Tang. Now, for the ladies, it might not be the space for the ladies, but doesn't mean that
Right.
people ain't going to attend.
No, I think people will attend, but I'm just saying, if it's not a space for ladies, do you want to get in there? Listen, this guy that we had him on the show, Drew Greer. I used to work with him at Nike, and when we had events, right, they would always implore and talk to me. Hey, 2 to 3 women per man at our events. That's generally
Sure.
the thought thing, right? Which is unfun for the ladies, right? But guys like it. That's the setup for a lot of events, right? And he would always say it's looking a little wooish in here if there were too many guys at the function, or what, if it was something like that. So I just wonder, right? Because, and this is one of the things that I wanted to get into, the prices for these residencies. Listen, it's not cheap. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not going and, oh, I'm gonna catch Wu-Tang for a little $100 out, slip, slip, slip. No, it's not that. It's not, those prices aren't like that. And so I'm just curious, what the vibe will be, what the setup is going to be like. And if women aren't sort of the driving factor, not saying again that guys aren't going to want to go or going to
Method
be
Man.
there. I know, but are you going to sit through a whole Wu set just to see Meth do those 2 or 3 songs in your cute little outfit? Because you don't want to go out in your Timbs and jeans.
I look
I
at it
don't
like
know.
this. I know you're trying to represent for the ladies or whatnot, but I think it'll still be somewhat of a success. I look at the Locks and Dipset, their verses.
Hmm.
When you looked at the crowd, who was up in that joint? It seemed like it was nothing but guys up in there.
It did. It did.
So I think once again, Wu Tang is legendary, and I think the ladies would want to stick around for a couple songs or whatever just to wait for Method Man. I mean, Method Man is this heartthrob now all of a sudden.
He
So
is.
you know, you know,
Method was all of a sudden he was a heartthrob back in the 90s. We know he was looking ugly with that fake eye thing and whatever. We saw through that, and when he took it off, it was like, and cut that little hair thing situation he had going on. Everybody was like, "Oh, maybe we'll pay attention to them." I'm talking about the ladies. I don't know.
we'll see. And,
We'll
and you know what? They may have some opening acts. I mean, I don't know how the residency stuff works. They
Mm-mm.
don't
It's
do.
just
They don't.
them.
It's just
Mm-mm.
them.
It's just them.
And how
They
long
might
is
have
the
a
show?
DJ. Generally it's gonna be like 2, maybe 3 hours.
And do they perform like weekly or something like that?
Yeah, they perform. Well, listen, when we come forward, I will break down the schedule, when you can get the tickets, and when they go on sale. All of that on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Here's to a holiday season full of peace, joy, and happiness. Happy Kwanzaa from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580. Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit lafla.org. lafla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So the ghost OG J Speed in the chat says, a person has a right to face his accuser. That will never happen with the civil court, can be totally different sometimes. That is in reference to the young lady that wants to continue her civil case against Offset, who passed away October 31st of 2021. No, was that 2022? That was just last year. Yeah. So, and is wanting his mother to step in play as the defendant. I don't see how it can move forward unless perhaps they took a deposition before he passed and the judge will allow that in as evidence.
You said Offset passed away?
I mean, not Offset. I'm sorry. Apologies. Takeoff.
Okay.
Takeoff. Apologies. I was thinking about Offset and Cardi B, you know. But back to the Vegas thing. So I take that back. I think it will be successful because it's a short-lived residency. And it seems to be more in line with the type of residencies we hear like that happen at Dre's or things of that nature. You know, at Dre's, they have like, you know, 2 Chainz will come in twice a month, Ja Rule, like things like that. It's more of a party, but then a show. So what Wu-Tang is doing, and the reason why I say I take it back, I think it will be a success, is because there are only 4 shows in this residency. And the first 2 shows are Super Bowl weekend. And the next 2 shows are during the NCAA tournament, March Madness. So they'll be fine.
100% they will be. They got the whole world in town.
Right. So that it'll just be something extra to do. So, and, you know, again, there'll be a lot of events, a lot of things to take over. And the ticket prices are pretty reasonable. So general admission ticket, I don't do general admission. Not bougie. I need a seat. Let's be clear. I'm short. I am short. So if we have to stand in any type of crowd control thing, I am not going to be able to see. I promise you, my concert experience will be the backs of everybody's shirts, kind of near their armpits, and it will be extremely unpleasant and unfulfilling for me. And you can't wear your Get 'em Girl shoes if you're going to be in Gen Pop. It just doesn't work like that.
There's no seating in the general?
You know, general admission means just that. You get to
Standing
mill
room only.
around and find your spot. Get there early. Hope you can get to the best spot. There are seats that are available, and the highest ticket is $654. So you can access the pre-sale if you're interested using the code CREAM. The general sale begins Friday, December 14th. The actual pre-sale starts tomorrow. So yeah, there you go. It's via Access, and you know, cash rules everything around me. Clearly, because I ain't paying for that. But shout out to Wu-Tang for making it happen. Yeah, so again, I take it back. That makes more sense. I thought they were going to do a residency like Usher and Bruno Mars and Adele, and that didn't make sense to me. I was like, are the ladies going to show up for y'all? I don't think so. I don't think that's going to work out. But listen, um, along those same lines, right? Also mentioned that Jodeci, they're heading to Vegas for their residency, and it's called The Show, The After Party, The Vegas Residency. I think that's cute, kind of taking a play off of their third album, The Show, The After Party, The Hotel. And that is really what life used to be like for Jodeci when they were on tour, baby. So the resident, ooh, slow down. The residency is going to be at the Mandalay Bay Resort, and it's going to be at the House of Blues there. They begin March 15th. It's going to be a first round of 10 shows that are going to run through from March 15th through the 24th. And then they'll have a second leg that comes back next summer, July 5th through the 13th. And pre-sale tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. if you have city cards. And there's also available through House of Blues, Live Nation, Ticketmaster, blah, blah, blah. I have not looked up the prices for those yet. I don't know if they're available. Some people are saying, though, on social media that they have concerns. That they have concerns of Jodeci making it through this entire residency. Because they feel that when they saw them when they were on tour with New Edition, I think that was last year, and then this summer when they were on the Block Party tour, they didn't feel that it was the best version of Jodeci that they felt like paying for. I have not seen Jodeci perform as a unit in a long time. I didn't go to the New Edition tour when they were on the leg. I went to the one with Guy, Keith Sweat, and Tank. So I haven't seen them perform live in quite some time. I would imagine might be a little different for them now. Might not be the same, but hopefully, with planning a residency, one good thing about a residency is that the element of travel is removed, because you'll just be at your spot in Vegas for those things, whether it's you fly in like, Thursday night for your shows over the weekend and fly back out, or however it goes if they have shows during the week as well. But there's no travel, so that should certainly help as far as, your endurance, how you look on stage, your presence, all of that. The Ghost OGJ Speed says in the chat, depends how much you weigh, you can get up on someone's shoulder. I definitely am not getting up on someone's shoulder to watch a show. First of all, how is that fun for the person down there? They can't be moving around too much. I'm not having that. Secondly, what if something happens and they slip? That's a long way down. No timber in the crowd. I can't trust that anybody will body surf me like that. I don't do general admission events for anything. That goes for festivals. I don't do festivals, any of that, unless they have some type of, VIP seating area where I have a seat where everybody has their place to be in, or some other thing, because I can't see and it's not a fun experience for me. It doesn't, I've wasted my money in those instances. So, don't be calling me bougie. I am a little bougie, but don't be calling me bougie, Andy. I just can't see. So that is not fun. I don't want to be amongst the people. And that's just the way that is. Listen, we announced a couple of days ago, was that last week? Maybe a little further back than that, that New Edition had a residency coming to Las Vegas, and their residency sold out in 6 hours, right? And that is really banana. There are no seats left. Their residency, it's 6 shows. It's going to be at the Encore Theater at the Wynn in Las Vegas beginning February 28th. I'm sure that that will come around and be extended. We know that Bruno Mars starts another residency in Vegas later this month, continuing to next year. Adele's is going through until June. Couple others, so if you got the funds, go spend it. Here's the thing though, live entertainment experiences, they're up right now. The total grosses for the top 100 tours worldwide surged 46%. 46%. $9.1 billion was spent as far as live concert experiences, right? Last year's tally was 6.28 billion according to Polestar, and attendance was up about 18%. So, it is a lot happening. The average price for a concert ticket right now, $130, and that's up 23% from last year. So that's just in a year. The secondary market, of course, those tickets are even higher. And experts are calling it funflation. And basically, on the tail end of the pandemic, because we spent so much time indoors, we are valuing experiences over things. They are also attributing it to this type of thing that stuff isn't as exciting as it used to be, you know? Whereas before you would have to go to the mall, find something, worry if it was going to be there, or different things like that if you want to get stuff. You basically can get at this point whatever you want at the drop of the dime at your front door within 24 hours. And so some experts are saying that it has kind of taken away some of the euphoria and joy around shopping because it's so accessible, and that is why people are diving more into memorable fun, like one of a kind experiences, things that are not easy to duplicate, easy to get involved with, or what have you. And music seems to be one of the bigger ones. And some people got a lot of discretionary income, and they can afford to drop $500-$600 on these musical experiences. I appreciate live performances. The shows are getting more elaborate. They are giving you a lot, but realistically, to attend a concert and just, I'm not talking about like floor seats, hecka up close, but just, decent seats where, again, my special situation is a little different because I got to make sure I'm in a place where I can see, especially if I'm paying all of that. But average ticket price is going to be about $200. Parking, like, think about it. If you go to SoFi, you're paying almost $100 to park, right? If you're going to Staples, you're paying about 50. You haven't eaten anything yet. Do you have your outfit together? That's an expensive night. We haven't done much. We're already well over $500 or $600. So, not to bring this up, when people talk about $200 dates and things of that nature, if you go to a music thing, that's easily a $200 date. Um, I don't know. I value the live experience, but they're getting a little out of control with these prices. Andy, how much are you willing to spend to see your favorite artist? And does it depend on who it is, how often they tour? Are there different tiers, like somebody else could get a little more of your coin?
I think 200 is my max.
That's your max.
No more than 200. And it just has to be somebody that I rock with. Like, for example, I went to WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not music, but
No, but I mean, that's an experience. We
Yeah.
talked about that.
it was 2 nights. So I dropped a little over 400. So it was like 200 plus each night. That's not counting, a couple of the beers and
Parking,
park.
all of that.
Well,
little
luckily, I
snacks.
stay around the corner from SoFi, so I
Okay.
walked, so I didn't have to worry
Oh,
about.
so you didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, that was a blessing right there. But concessions and all that, you could say I spent a little bit over $500 for 2 nights,
I mean, that's significant, and
and that was 200 level seating, by the way. So I wasn't all the way close.
right. And these things are only going up. I don't know. Do we have, of course, we have a breaking point, but it's kind of interesting to watch as all of this develops.
America's trying to get their money back.
They're trying to get it back. They're not playing these games.
100%. I mean,
They're
the
charging us
pandemic
up.
definitely they took a toll on that. So they're trying every which way to get their money back.
Listen, I think the thing, we talk about inflation or whatever. The thing that bothers me probably the most is shrinkflation, where like if you go to buy a box of cereal, and so if the cereal was like $4.56, it's still $4.66, but you're getting like an ounce and a half less. So effectively you're paying more for less. That's the thing that pisses me off, because they don't really tell you, and you're looking, you're like, this kind of looks different, this doesn't really look the same, but it's costing the same price. I don't like that. That feels sneaky to me.
I feel like they low-key been doing that.
I mean, they have, but I hate when I see it, because it's just like,
Same thing with a bag of chips.
man.
It's like only 50% filled. There's nothing but air, but you want to charge me $2.50.
But to be fair, they do have to leave some of that air in there for the packaging and settle, and it'll explode. But sometimes it does seem like they're playing like, is that really what a bag of chips, a little single serving size, is supposed to be 3/4 of an ounce? It certainly doesn't look like that's what's
At
in
all.
there. I'm like, are you counting the packaging? I don't know. It costs a lot to eat now just to survive. We've been through that though. OGJ Speed said, I will pay as much as it takes to get my Wi-Fi to get on YouTube. So, I mean, I just wonder. I know things like, I remember my dad did not, after a certain point, enjoy going to live football games and basketball games, because he said he could see better from his, at home from his own big screen TV. So why did he need to get out there in the mix? But I guess people are tired of being at home, so that's what we're seeing. But how long will this wave last? And will there be like a live entertainment crash? Curious. We'll have to see. When we come forward, we're going to get into who the studios wanted to be considered for the starring roles in Color Purple. We're also going to get into this story that John B. shared about his finances related to his music. I find that fascinating. And we got some Megan Thee Stallion news. All that and more on the other side. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yo, check out the flow like the Hudson or PCP when I'm dusting. Because I'm hot like sauce. What rap my nut get screwed? Here comes my Shaolin style. True B.A. but B.Y.U. To my crew with the yeah. Come on, baby, come on. Baby, come on, baby, come on. Yo, you best protect your neck.
First things first, man, you with the worst. I'll be sticking pins in your head like a nurse. I'll attack any nigga lacking this Mac. Come fully packed with the fat rugged stack. Shame on you when you step through. Bastard, straight from the Brooklyn Zoo. And I'll be damned if I let any man come to my center.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The woman behind a kidnapping hoax is proving to be one of the year's biggest Google topics. The search engine revealed this week that Carly Russell was one of its highest trending people in 2023. The 25-year-old was found guilty of 2 misdemeanor charges this fall, around 3 months after she claimed she was kidnapped in the Birmingham area. Russell, who is black, turned back up 2 days after she was taken, but the whole story ended up being fake. The FDA is approving sickle cell treatments that include CRISPR gene editing technology that could open the door for thousands of patients in the U.S. to receive a treatment that has the potential to alleviate the painful effects of the disease. The FDA approved Casgevy, which is a one-time treatment for patients 12 and over. The CDC says sickle cell disease affects about 100,000 Americans, especially Black Americans with African ancestry. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Don't miss out because you're sick. Protect your health by getting the updated COVID-19 and flu vaccines so you can stay active, travel safe, gather safe, and be everyday safe.
Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. I was able to speak with Kate Luzio, former banking executive and now owner of Luminary, who partnered with Chase for this tour. She makes it her business to build community for business owners.
Yes, so I was a banker for 20 years before I decided to become an entrepreneur. 7 of those years were actually at JP Morgan Chase. One of the biggest things that I had going into my entrepreneurial journey was a big background in banking.
So what advice are you giving business owners looking for financial backing today?
So Chase brings in so much knowledge and the opportunity to understand what financial tools are out there for business owners to build, grow, and scale their business. A lot of business owners will say, well, I need to get a loan immediately. Well, you wouldn't just lend money to your friend if you didn't know why they needed it. I tell every business owner, you need a business plan, you need financial projections, you need a banker. Because you have to start building a relationship with a banker so that they get comfortable with how you're going to build that business and so that they can eventually support you in different ways.
Makes sense. So visit the Chase Community Center on Crenshaw and Vernon. Meet a banker today. Tell them about your business. I'm Maisha Cairo in the community for KBLA with JP Morgan Chase.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions because we've got your black. Listen up. If you're one of the more than 100,000 California tenants who were rejected or delayed when applying for COVID rental assistance, you've got a second chance. Under the terms of a new settlement, California's Housing and Community Development Department agreed to audit its past denials. The program ended in March 2022, but the advocacy groups Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment, Policy Link, and Strategic Actions for a Just Economy sued the department. According to the coalition's analysis of state data, the department rejected nearly 30% of all applicants. Under the settlement, the department agreed to clear all renters in the pipeline within 6 months. The settlement applies to anyone who sought assistance from the state's Housing is Key program before April 1st, 2022, whose applications is pending or was denied after June 6, 2022. Tenants who have questions about the status of their application can call the hotline at 833-430-2122. That's 833-430-2122. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Come and talk to me. I really want to meet you, girl. I really want to know your name. very long, trying to get my nerve built up to be so strong. I really want to meet you, but I'm kind of scared, 'cause you're the kind of lady with so much class. I get my thoughts together for the very next day, but when I see you, lady, I forget what you said. Your eyes and hair.
Shout out to Jodeci, man. I have great Jodeci memories from all of this stuff. You know, I shouldn't even say this, but I'm gonna say it. Are we gonna have to give up like Jodeci music and Total and Mace? Because they're affiliated with the Diddler. Is that gonna happen? Is there gonna be a push for that? I was having a conversation with a friend about, the Cosby Show and whether they still watch it, what are their feelings surrounding it, similar with R. Kelly music and some other things. And as, the conversation, I guess it is kind of hip hop's time to get into some of, the activities of the 90s. Some people are not with the look back and some of the things that happened. And I'm not even talking about any of the cases when I say this. A lot of people have been re-examining old songs, old events. We talked about it briefly the other day about BBD's Do Me Baby. Backstage, underage, adolescent. They said Busta Rhymes wrote that line. There has been a look back at songs like BDP, 13, something, I can't remember the name of it. I just blanked on the song. Something about 13. There's lots of references about older women and younger men. Older men and younger women. Or even MC Lyte had a song where she was saying something about the guy was 17. And, people are outraged about this. They're upset and they want something done. I don't know what they want done, but they would like something done.
First off, who are these people?
The internet.
The internet. Now, are these
pundits?
No, not pundits, but what do you call it? What's this current generation? Gen X or whatever? Gen Z? Is it Gen Z folks talking? Because if it's boomers, if it's millennials, y'all need to fall back, because when everything was going on at the time being, you guys were quiet. Now, because we're living in this new PC society, you guys want to, if that's the case, erase everything that was done in the past.
It's a lot. And that's what I say. I feel that I understand, things do not have to remain as they were. Fine, I get that. Things change, things evolve. But some, to a degree, of this re-examination, I don't see how it is helpful. And I don't really understand, in some aspects, what they would like done. Because it was American society as a whole. If you look back over the 80s and 90s, especially when it comes to pop culture and youth culture, there was a lot of kind of, I would say, blurring the lines between young adulthood and teenhood, and a lot of sort of living out the fantasies of the ultimate teen that kind of carried over in a lot of ways. You saw a lot of stuff like that in TV shows and different things. The guy, if you think about a movie like 16 Candles, I don't know if you guys have seen it, John Hughes movie, Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall. In it, there's a scene where Anthony Michael Hall ends up hooking up with the homecoming queen. He's a freshman, she's a senior, and she was drunk or drugged and didn't realize what happened, but when she wakes up, she likes it, and people are really upset. But at the time, yes, we know it's not PC. It was comical, the audaciousness of it. But we're not in that time anymore. But Andy, I got a question for you, specifically for you, because we were talking about hip hop last night. We were talking about Hammer and what is a sellout, and how, the hip hop community sort of treated Hammer at that time. And I saw a couple of conversations, and one person threw this up as a comparison, and I was like, for different reasons, but that's kind of a good one. They said you can say, in a way, that Soulja Boy was the Hammer of his generation in terms of, creating a dance, creating a version of hip hop, and utilizing things that people didn't respect. He made a lot of money. His ascension was fast, but a lot of people in hip hop dissed him and his movement until later. So I wanted to know your thoughts about that.
I don't know. That's
Far-fetched, too much.
It's a little far-fetched. I understand the comparisons with the ridicule. I think you can make that assessment based off of the criticism. I guess I'm just maybe too caught up in the actual music. It's a fair point.
I mean, because here's the thing: you think about music when watch me you. That was different in the music scene. And though, here again, same critiques about Hammer, people felt like he was using a gimmick, wasn't lyrically sound. People felt that way about Soulja Boy too, but he got people dancing, he got them moving, he used the internet. If you think about Kiss Me Through the Phone, right? He had all the girls doing kissies before selfies, and that manner were a thing. So in some ways, he was on a wave all on his own that he created. Ringtones. Think about the ringtone thing. That in of itself.
And I think that's what it is. When you pave a way for yourself and you don't necessarily follow the cookie cutter, method or whatnot, you're gonna get hate. You're gonna get criticism because we're not used to this per se. So I think with Hammer at the time, you can make the case that he was very innovative. You know what I mean? He had everybody dancing and everything like that. So
do you think critique automatically equals jealousy? Because you often see a lot of the commentary in these things like, oh, they're just jealous of the attention, of the bookings, of the money. And I get that to a degree, but do you think that it is just that? Like with Hammer, I don't know if all those artists at the time were jealous per se, but more, I think they felt a purity of hip hop was being blurred. People always think that their way is the best way.
Yeah, I think there's a percentage of jealousy. I wouldn't call it full-blown jealousy, but I think there definitely is a percentage of jealousy, because if these individuals who were critiquing MC Hammer or Soulja Boy at the time were popping themselves, they wouldn't care. They'd be enjoying what it is that they do. And I think, once again, people want to be authentic with the rap. I mean, if that was the case, y'all should have cleaned up your own music too. Make the same music like MC Hammer, and maybe you probably would have been successful. Who knows? I don't know.
I think the transition of hip hop is interesting to watch. Obviously we've been looking back over the first 50 years of the celebration, but I do think that it is telling that the sales are shifting. The top of the charts, they're not filled with as much hip hop. So we know that it is a genre that can stretch and evolve, and we've seen it do as such. They thought hip hop would be kind of like disco, and that it would fade out kind of fast. Like I said, they talked about them predicting reggaeton to take over, whatever, but it's continued to take on different shapes. But can it continue to support the weight of itself, the way that it is being rolled out? Don't know. We got to see. All right. Well, when we come forward, we're going to get into who Oprah alleged the studio wanted for roles in Color Purple. And we are also going to talk about the 10th anniversary of a game-changing album. That anniversary is tomorrow. We're going to get into the story, though, tonight. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Happy Kwanzaa from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580.
Cover California is a free service from the state that's already helped millions of people like you get and pay for health insurance. With financial help to lower the cost of health coverage, you could get a quality health plan for less than $10 a month. Every plan covers preventive care, doctor visits, emergency care, and more. If you have questions, we're here to help every step of the way. Cover California, this way to health insurance. Enroll by December 31st at coveredca.com.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
Discover, this is Danny.
Hi, it's Jen Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Are you hungry? 'Cause everyone left after the asparagus sorbet.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007 they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So it was a decade ago, 10 years ago, that one woman literally changed the music industry with a secret album drop that included visuals for every song on the album. Oh, by the way, it moved the release date from Tuesdays to Fridays. This is when Beyonce dropped the Beyonce album, which was, until Renaissance, my personal favorite Beyonce album. I know a lot of people like Four and I Am, Sasha Fierce. For me, it was the Beyonce album. Now it's Renaissance. So it's Renaissance, Beyonce, and then the first one, Dangerously in Love, for myself. But just wanted to shout out B on that. And another reason why I wanted to bring up Miss Knowles Carter is because, listen, we know that The Color Purple is coming out on Christmas Day, right? And it stars Fantasia, Taraji P. Henson, and who else? Danielle Brooks, Coleman Domingo, a couple others. Her is in it. Sierra is also in it, and some others. But originally, the studio had a couple of actresses in mind, likely for the role of Shug Avery. Oprah recently had an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, and she was discussing the reimagining and bringing the musical version to Broadway. And she said that she had to fight for Fantasia and Taraji and Danielle, and they all had to audition for their roles. Now, we know Taraji is Academy Award nominated, Emmy nominated several times, established, but they still had to get in there and read those lines. Fantasia had to audition just a month after giving birth to her daughter. So you can just guess who one of the people the studio wanted for consideration in the film was Beyonce, naturally. Although I don't see, even if they were considering Beyonce for the role of Shug Avery, and I apologize if this seems to be a bit much, but I feel like there is no way a light skinned woman should play the role of Shug Avery. I kind of feel like it does the role a disservice because part of, I feel, in The Color Purple, one of the connections with Celie and Shug is Celie seeing herself in Shug. And you can't do that if, I mean, you could, but I just feel like that is important. And I wouldn't want to see that. The other person they were considering, look, this is how you know that people are just doing things based off of what they think will be popular. And this is no disrespect to her because I love her. But Rihanna was also someone that they were considering for the role. I, in no way, shape, or form, can see Miss Reed, not that she couldn't embody the spirit of the role. I just don't think that, once again, it would be right for that particular role. And so I'm glad that it came together the way that, it did. Oprah says that once the film moved from, if it was being done for about 30 or 40 million dollars, that they would not have been so involved per se as far as casting in that way. But once the film moved to $100 million film, then everybody wants to bring in Beyonce. Can you get Beyonce or Rihanna? So she said they were sitting in the room saying, listen, we love them, but there are other actors who can do this. And she said, I remember the conversation about, y'all, Beyonce is going to be busy this year. It wasn't even a negotiation because you're not getting Beyonce. So, listen, Hollywood's still going to have their tricks. They're still going to move around in an interesting manner. I think that's a little crazy, though. I think that is just, I don't want to say what the obvious thought is about what those executives likely look like, but come on, man. Anybody that remotely knows the story of The Color Purple would not have made that suggestion. It's almost offensive. Okay, so you guys know who John B is, right? We like John B, right? He was someone that got a pass to the cookout. Well, he was recently on the Joe Budden podcast, and he shared the amount of money that he has earned from some of his most memorable hits. So let's hear what he had to say.
Out, but it's 25, 26 years later, and I still haven't been paid a check for my records. You know what I'm saying?
I know. So Babyface was Big Red. I told
we gotta work some things out.
Well, you ain't been paid a check from one record?
From any of my records.
Oh, now let's get
what?
it. Yeah. Now
John B, shut up, man.
Nah.
John B.
No, they still have to pay.
John B, I will walk out of this room.
No,
why do you think he lying?
They still have to pay.
That sounds believable.
Every record?
That sounds believable.
Every record, bro.
Nah, there's some type of check.
No, I get checks because I do shows, but I don't get paid for my records.
So, I find that really interesting. I wonder what type of publishing deal or arrangement that he signed. Again, we hear about these stories quite a bit about the music industry and what people are not getting as far as their rights and what they are not able to access with the royalties for their thing, or if they are, it's pennies on the dollar. I just find it hard to believe that he hasn't received not one check. Did he sign away all the rights for the advance in the 90s? That's the only way that I could really think of that would be happening. But I don't know. Andy?
Actors, musicians, go independent.
Well, so here's the thing. What do you mean by that? Like actors, right? I know that you mean they're independent films, but the budgets on those are tricky. A lot of times they have to get sometimes involved in crowdfunding or different things, right? But it's still the issues with scale. I do think, though, that music artists should consider some type of union and look at the SAG-AFTRA Guild. I don't know how it would really work, But I know that, and again, in this regard, I am low key pro business, probably more than others. Not all the way, but I do believe that there's a way that the business works and there are certain things that happen. And if you want to avoid that, go independent. However, I do think that the splits and the money needs to be adjusted because the money has gone up and it's ridiculous. Nobody should be getting like a penny or 13 cents for a billion streams.
And that's why you should go independent. Yeah, you may have to work a little bit hard. Yeah, you may have to go ahead and solicit some funds or whatever, crowdfund, whatever. But go independent. It protects everything. Look at Nipsey Hussle.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he grinded.
he's a great example. But here's the thing. But
E40.
True.
Master P.
See, here's the thing about using Master P and E40. Master P, he got his thing from a lawsuit, right? That's how he got his big money, even though he had illegal things going on. Because I fear that with a lot of these people, they had other ways to supplement the huge expense that comes along with putting out music and promoting it, And I think that is where a lot of other people get tripped up, because they feel like they don't have the options, and then they end up going to those type of people for the options, and it's like pick your poison.
So you're talking about like drugs and all that. Look, I get it. I get
Other
it.
ways.
I get it. But I'm just saying, if you want to go the clean cut route, yeah, it may take 10 years for you to blow up, but at least 10 years down the line that all that money will be coming to you, as opposed to having to go ahead and, hire a lawyer, sue people and all that joint. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I agree with you, but gotta eat.
Hey, then go ahead and work at McDonald's and fund your career. You know what I'm saying? Invest in your career. I'm just saying make that decision. Baby steps.
You are right, Andy. You are 100% right. But we know with a genre like hip-hop, how many people are really ready to put down their ego for that type of...
People are already doing it as is, and they're not making any type of bread. Go on SoundCloud, go on YouTube. People got their music up there, probably not making any bread.
Nobody listening to it. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. We're going to talk about an artist that does seem to know how to make some things happen, but he seems to be using his old playbook. And of course, more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into Artist Repeat with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
I really wanna meet you. Can I talk to you? Ooh, yeah. I really wanna know you. Oh. There you are again with the same smile each day. I wanna know what it is that makes me feel this way.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. The woman behind a kidnapping hoax is proving to be one of